What is up, ladies and gentlemen? But most of all, you ladies out there, thanks for clicking on another episode of Break the Silence. I am your host, Cyborg. This Giannis disrespect has to stop. We talk next. The Giannis disrespect has gone too far. It's gone too far, and we need to talk about it because someone needs to stand up for this man. Someone needs to stand up for this two-time MVP, Finals MVP, drop the 50 burger to win the NBA Finals. Someone needs to stand up for him, and if no one will, I will. So let's talk about it. Gilbert Arenas, former Washington Wizard, wore number 0, averaged 20 points per game for his career, fun player to watch, kind of flashy, played in the nation's capital. Also had some problems off the court, but we're not going to get into those. But Gilbert Arenas came out on his podcast and said that Giannis Antetokounmpo is not the best player in basketball. In fact, he said it's not even close. He said that Giannis doesn't understand how to develop his body. He said that Giannis doesn't understand the game of basketball yet. Said his basketball IQ is not there. He also said that Giannis, what else did he say? Let me see if I have it written down here. He said that Giannis doesn't understand. Him not playing enough minutes was also a big issue for Gilbert Arenas. He said that guys like Allen Iverson played 42 minutes a game. Braun last year played 37 minutes a game. So we're going to break down so much because there's so much there. And this whole interview was really jarring to listen to when you're listening to a former NBA player and guys that you used to kind of look up to, guys you used to think, when you're looking at NBA players, especially those that were all-stars, those that were stars in the league for a while, especially when I started watching basketball, I used to play video games of Gilbert Arenas. You look at these guys and you kind of hold them in high regards. And then you hear him make comments like this and you kind of understand maybe why Gilbert Arenas never won anything. And I'm going to kind of crap on Gilbert Arenas a little bit here because I think that it's kind of warranted in a way, but I think it's talking about him not understanding the goal of basketball. And to anyone who's ever played, well, let's say it this way. Everyone who plays basketball does not necessarily have the same goal in mind. Some people's goal is to win. Some people's goal is to make a bunch of money. Some people's goal is to be flashy, get fame, notoriety, all sorts of things like that. And when you're looking at someone like Gilbert Arenas, he probably stood more in the flashy, wanted notoriety field. And that's kind of the players that he's attracted to. So when you're talking about that, he's more attracted to Allen Iverson, guys like Kyrie Irving. I guarantee if you put Gilbert Arenas up to a lie detector test, he would say that he believes Kyrie Irving is a better player than Giannis. And that's just not truly understanding the goal of basketball. And, it is what it is. Kyrie Irving is a very highly skilled basketball player. He's got the deepest bag in the NBA, maybe one of the deepest bags of all time. To me, and obviously if you disagree with any of this, maybe that's just how you see basketball. But to me, the goal of basketball is not to have the deepest bag. That's, when I flip on the channel and we're talking about the greatest players of all time, I'm not talking about the guys with the deepest bag. I'm talking about the guys who accomplished winning MVPs, accomplished winning championships, all those sorts of things. So we're going to really break this down. So please stay tuned for all that. We're going to talk about Michael Jordan in this. We're going to talk about Shaq. We're going to talk about Giannis and really break down a lot of his game. But first, please take a second to like and subscribe to the channel. You see, we're almost at 400 subs. We're trying to hit 400 subs before the season starts. It's been a grind here in the off season. So let's get into this. Gilbert Arenas in his career was 253 and 299. That was his winning win to loss record. So Gilbert Arenas is not someone that understood the winning part of basketball, clearly. He averaged 20 points a game for his career, so pretty flashy, and, was a big name. A lot of people know the name Gilbert Arenas. There are certain names that you know, certain names that you don't, and I think he's one that was a little more popular during his era. And when he comes out and he talks about Giannis like this, to me, it's him not understanding the way that the league is evolutionizing, the evolution of the NBA. Giannis, the problem with him is that he's looked at as a wing. When you're looking at modern day wings, because when you were looking at the 80s and 90s, a lot of what dominated the league was the big man. Your Hakeem Olajuwon, your Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, your Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain. I know that was a little earlier than the 80s, 90s, but you have these guys, a lot of these big centers dominated a lot of the NBA. And now we've seen the transition basically since LeBron, Kobe, transitioning into wing basketball really dominating the NBA. So when you're looking at Giannis, a lot of people look at him as a wing. Giannis Antetokounmpo is not a wing. He should not be compared to a guy like LeBron, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Jason Tatum, because he does not play the same style of basketball. Yes, you can compare him when you're ranking players or whatever, but when you're talking about his game, he should not be held to the same shooting standards as Kevin Durant, in the same way Kevin Durant shouldn't be held to the same finishing in the paint standards as Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis is truly a modern day big man. He is not a modern day wing, he's a modern day big man. And let me prove it to you. Giannis Antetokounmpo last year averaged 6.6 restricted area makes, meaning in that little circle, he made 6.6 per game at a 77% clip, which is just ungodly. He led the league in restricted area makes. You're talking about a man who thrives right next to the basket. That's what we hear from a lot of big men. And when I went back and looked at Shaq, in 2001 and 2002 season, he averaged 7.3 makes on 73.8% shooting. So he averaged a little less than a make more per game on a little worse shooting percentage. So when you're looking at Giannis Antetokounmpo, the better comparison is Shaq. And here's where I get really frustrated when I listen to the media talk about some of our current day athletes. And Skip Bayless is kind of the worst at this. He will look at a Giannis or look at a LeBron and say their huge downfall and the reason that they can never be considered the greatest of all time, top 10, whatever else, is because they don't shoot the free throw well enough. And then he'll turn around in his next sentence and say that Shaq is top 5 all time. So there's some sort of disconnect in some people's brain that look at Giannis and LeBron as wings, guards that should be shooting 80, 90% from the free throw line, should be shooting, 40% from the three ball. But if you look at Giannis for what he truly is, a big man, you can then appreciate his game even more, because you take all his big man skill sets, his ability to finish at the rim, being the most physical force in the NBA right now, other than maybe Joel Embiid, which Giannis is so quick and everything that, whatever you want to say there, but the most physical force inside while also having a handle, while also being able to pass the basketball. So here's what I want to say. Let me give you two players. Real quick. Saying that Giannis doesn't know how to develop his body yet is the craziest thing I've ever heard. If you look at a picture of Giannis from when he came into the league till now, he's gained, and I looked up, 52 pounds, and it's just straight muscle. The dude definitely knows how to develop his body. He's got one of the most impressive bodies in the NBA, and he was the 15th pick in the draft. So you're talking about a man who has truly developed his game into becoming the best player in the NBA. So let me give you two players here. The first one averaged 29.9 points, 11.6 rebounds, 5.8 assists on 55% from the field and 30% from three. So you have a player here, averaged 30, 12, 6, 55% from the field and 30% from three. Keep those numbers in mind. Player number two averaged 30.1 points, so 0.2 points more, 6.4 rebounds, 5 less, 6.1 assists, about the same, on 51.9% from the field and 31.2% from three. So he shot 1% better from three. Player one is Giannis last year. Player two is Michael Jordan in what was considered his best season of all time. So I'm not here to compare Giannis and Michael Jordan. Obviously, I'm not saying that Giannis is in that stratosphere. What I want to point out when I'm saying that is that we criticize Giannis so heavily for not having his three-point shot developed, not shooting 35-40% from three, when who many considered the greatest player of all time also did not have a three-point shot. Michael Jordan, for his career, not a good three-point shooter if you look at the numbers and you look at the statistics. And a lot of people will say, well, it wasn't as important back then. Well, if you didn't understand that three was more than two, I mean, more power to you. But so Giannis shot 30% from three, Jordan shot 31, and they average the same amount of points. My whole point in this is that I don't care how you get your points. I don't care how flashy it is. I don't care how many dribbles through your legs you did. If you are highly efficient and putting up incredible PERs, putting up incredible true shooting percentage, your team is competing for championships year after year, you're competing for MVPs, then you are in that discussion for best player in the league. If you don't believe Giannis is the best player in the league, that is okay, because I think when we talk about basketball, we can all have opinions to a certain extent. What you can't say is that Giannis is not even close to the best player in the league. That is not a valid opinion. That is an idiotic statement. That is someone who is not understanding basketball, who doesn't prioritize the right things. And that's all I'll say about Gilbert Arenas, and I don't want to crap on him anymore here. But a man who prioritizes the bag. When you're looking, his Allen Iverson comparison is just wild. Allen Iverson was great, and I'm not sitting here not trying to dog on Allen Iverson, not trying to, compare Giannis to Shaq, Michael Jordan necessarily, but I just wanted to point out some things in there. But Allen Iverson averaged 42 minutes per game. Yeah, Allen Iverson's career was short, and he ended up in China pretty soon, playing for the Shanghai Sharks or whoever he played for. But yeah, Allen Iverson also never won an NBA championship. So to say that Giannis is not the best player in the league because he doesn't play as many minutes as Allen Iverson did, Allen Iverson was never the best player in the league. So I just don't understand the connection that Gilbert Arenas' mind was making there. And maybe he just didn't. I don't know. I truly don't understand that. But the reason for the video, the reason for this discussion is because Giannis so often is disrespected when you're talking about any of these debates. And I do think that to a certain extent, it's because he is a non-American born player. And this happens with a lot of them, to be honest. So when we're having these discussions about players, for whatever reason, the media and social media and all those things tend to be more drawn to the American born athlete, which is, it is what it is. But like a Ja Morant is all over social media, and Ja's awesome. He's super fun to watch. But some of these non-American born players don't get the same media coverage. In fact, you even had Stephen A. make a comment a couple years ago that he thought Shohei Ohtani, baseball player for the Angels, was not good for the MLB because he didn't speak great English. But the thing is, to me, when I'm evaluating the game of basketball, I don't care where you're from. I don't care how you get your points. I don't care how you win games. What I care about is, do you win games? And are you a big part of it? And Giannis Antetokounmpo is a 2-time MVP. He's a finals MVP. He's a champion. We can't disrespect this man anymore. He's done what he needed to do. And I look forward to seeing what Giannis does in the future, because I think he has a real shot to enter into some of those top 10 all-time conversations. Will he get there? Obviously, he's got a lot of work to do. It takes a lot of accomplishments. It'll take, 2-3 more MVPs, 3 more championships, things like that. But Giannis truly has a shot. So I hate the disrespect. It drives me bonkers. Appreciate y'all watching. We're going to keep talking hoops coming up here. Might break down some teams because I want to talk about some players I haven't got to talk about yet. So we're going to do that here soon. We're going to keep talking hoops. Appreciate y'all watching. Cyborg out.